Hey guys, John here with a silver update. I just got done watching Da Vinci's video, basically how Bitcoins work. It's a 45-minute video. While I don't like Bitcoins at all, I'm intrigued from a technical point of view, from a software engineering point of view. They're a thing of beauty. They're as a programmer myself, I can appreciate the technology behind it. It is revolutionary in some aspects of its technology. Much like the wheel. I mean, the invention of the wheel was revolutionary, but a wheel wouldn't make good currency, you know what I mean? So just because something is well thought out and very smart doesn't mean it automatically becomes a good currency. But what I was thinking, where Bitcoin could and hopefully one day will evolve to, is maybe something like a mix of Bitcoin, gold money, and just normal currencies as well. Now let me explain. What if Bitcoin kept its peer-to-peer network, it kept its private transactions, it kept its instant clearing and all the benefits of Bitcoin, where it makes transactions a lot easier, more private and all that sort of stuff? What if that remained? It was backed by gold and silver in the way that gold, silver money, what was it called? Goldmoney.com is backed, and also has currencies in there weighted as well against the value of what a Bitcoin is. Then you've really got my attention. Okay, now why do I include currencies in there as well as gold and silver backing the currency? At the moment, gold and silver aren't monetized. They're not monetized in the sense of I can go and buy something down the road for gold and silver. I need currency. As a result, the gold silver price is relatively volatile. Silver recently went through a 35% correction itself. It is not a currency. People say, well, if silver can crash 35%, Bitcoin 66%, what's the real difference? They're both terrible currencies. The big difference is that silver isn't a currency, and it's not trying to be a currency at this point in time. Throughout history, when silver was money, when silver was currency, or the currency we had was backed by silver, the silver price was stable. So when it is a currency, it is a good currency. It's just that now it's weighted against a whole host of other fiat currencies, and that's where its volatility actually comes from. But when it is itself a currency, or it is money mainstream, then it's not so volatile. At least hasn't been throughout history. So imagine that. Imagine if we could see Bitcoin, the whole transactional model of Bitcoin, coupled with the legitimacy of a gold and silver backing, coupled again with a creative mix of various different currencies in this big gold silver currency weighted, however the algorithm determined the weightings or whatever, just backed by something. You know what I mean? Now obviously that creates logistical problems when you've got to have, something backing your currency, but it's a good problem to have, because it means your currency is going to be worth something, not even worth more, but worth something. So that's something to consider, and I'm just throwing ideas. I haven't even thought about this, but if you had certain agencies around the world responsible for the storage of such things that were audited, and there were certain rules, much like there's rules about how Bitcoins are created, there's rules about how things are audited within the Bitcoin depositories or whatever around the world. Then you've really got something that can really take on this world banking system, the thing that you hate so much, Da Vinci. And maybe I didn't stress it enough. I read your comments. There was no way any disrespect to you, man. I understand why, as I said in that video, why you're attracted to Bitcoins. I do understand it. You really are one of the most passionate people on YouTube about honest money and silver and gold. But I used to do Aikido, and my Aikido instructor said, when you're focused on something long and hard enough of your opponent, that'll be the thing that kills you. So if you're up against an opponent and you're worried about that punch coming, and you're focusing on that punch coming, and that's the only thing you can think of, then it'll be the punch that kills you. So the analogy he's trying to make there is, when you're focusing so hard on one thing it'll be that thing that blinds you. And that's what I was trying to say by, I understand you, what you're wanting to get out of Bitcoins is, this whole rising above the institutions, the governments, the control structures, the banking systems. But in that focus that you have, more than anyone, to the point where you've even cried on, you didn't burp, you didn't bawl, but you got very emotional in one of your JP Morgan videos, I remember. It's that thing that I think has blindsided you a little bit on the Bitcoins. Well, I don't know how much invested you are, I don't know all that sort of stuff. I did think it was a bad idea to give insurance. That was, I certainly hope by the end of the 2.5 months, it's at least Bitcoins are where you won't have to pay out on that, because you really shouldn't have to. Anyhow, I don't want to go on about that, but anyhow, I'm trying to keep it positive. So the positive is that Bitcoin has created a platform that is revolutionary from a software engineering point of view. From a currency point of view, it's weak. Okay, and while you may not see that, the fact that so many other people can see it means that it's weak. If I have to spend a week of my time researching Bitcoins to find out why it's a valuable currency, then it's not a valuable currency in and of itself. It's not something that's going to be mainstream adopted, and currencies only work when they're mainstream adopted. Now, paper money didn't work when it was first introduced in China. This isn't money, this is a musical I went and saw last night. But paper, when it was first introduced in China, was the first place paper money was introduced. The warlords or whoever ruled at that time, they said that if you don't accept this, they'll cut off your head. So it was death by non-acceptance. Now, unless Bitcoin can get pretty medieval on its user base, or those who would maybe use Bitcoin, it's not going to be accepted by mainstream. Computer geeks love it. They'll love this sort of stuff, and that's where you're seeing it. As Truth Cracker and a few other people have mentioned, the drug and the people who really need to keep their anonymity for massive repercussions' sake will love it as well. But in terms of mainstream adoption, it's not going to happen. But if we did start to say, okay, we've got an electronic currency that is backed by gold, silver, and a mix of currencies around the world to give it that price stability, maybe you can fade those currencies out as they inflate. There can be some algorithm that determines the rate of inflation for each fiat-based currency that's, and you can get quite sophisticated with it. Obviously, the guys behind this are quite smart, but just get a little bit smarter and back the currency. Not make it such a technical toy, not make it such a feat just of software engineering, but make it a feat to be competed on and competed against a world stage of international currencies. Then you got something that's got my full support. But until that happens, it's not there. It's simply not a currency. So I hope that puts some positive spin on it, and maybe, I don't know how well you are in the whole Bitcoin community, and I don't know how well that idea will fly, but maybe you should approach it to them, because if they can do that, they'll have the best currency in the world, and you'll get everyone flocking to it. And they've obviously got to work on the user interface and all that sort of stuff, and the fact that I can lose my data. There's some problems with Bitcoins, but if you get the foundations right, I'm sure that technology can advance into something that is valuable, and something that I think you're really looking for, something that I think you really want. You found an inkling in it in Bitcoin. It's not exactly what I think you're looking for from my perspective, and if I've judged your character well, probably, I don't know, but then I think it'll be something that you will really say you found what you're looking for in Bitcoin. So that's my 2 cents anyhow. That's it for Bitcoins. I'm done. Talk to you soon, guys.